Hey, a couple of housekeeping things. Welcome to Slipstream Tarot. Um, I wanted to explain a little bit of background. These are first of all, it's a general reading for earth signs. I'm picking earth signs because in my first read, I evolved two, this being the second, a lot of earth energy came up. So it seemed like a logical, when we're breaking down into the elements, earth, air, fire, water. It seemed like a good place to start. I wanted to mention that if you know your birth chart, and often people just know their sun sign, but you can look at sun, moon, rising, and I pay a lot of attention to North Node because that indicates where we're going in this lifetime, and the ones to come, if you are open to that. And you can download your birth chart for free and figure out more about if you're interested in the astrology. I admittedly I'm not an astrologer. I don't know a lot about it. What I know, I basically know through tarot. And so just straight up, you're not going to get a whole lot of astrological information. It's sort of piecemeal. But what you will get is the narrative that tarot can lay out. And it's a language. And I've been practicing it, trying to develop a fluency in it. It's like for 50 years. Really, since longer, 55 or something, longer than, since I was since Woodstock or thereabouts, for those of you who remember that, a long time. And so I've developed enough of a facility, or, I can read it. It's a language, and there's a grammar and in any case, I love language. And so this fascinates me, how to translate the language I see in the cards into a narrative that might be understood and that might resonate with you and might not. Really might not, and you'll know it pretty fast, probably, whether or not this is your reading. You don't have to be an earth sign to have this mean something to you. You might have earth in your chart, you might be dealing with other earth signs, but we all have all these energies at work inside of us. You'd have to. And the charts are big, and somewhere in your chart is a strong earth influence. So that being said, I guess that's about it for now. Please like, share, and subscribe. Those are the little icons that appear below the video. Thumbs up, thing that says share, and a notification bell, little bell icon that signifies, that allows you to know when I post videos. Not in an obnoxious way, but you'll be able to tell if you look at YouTube, if you look for my channel, whatever. What it does is notify you when I upload a video, and so far there are two, so it's not like a crowded field, but and that's free, and all you're doing with that is giving the algorithm that runs YouTube, you're cutting a path to this channel. Because right now, as far as the algorithm of YouTube is concerned, I don't exist. But here I am. So, if you watch it, if it resonates, if you just want to support the channel, that's how you do it. You share the video with anybody you think might need this kind of, to hear this kind of narrative, and explore internal and external energies. Because that's what tarot does. And subscribe, again, just means you'll be notified should you want to be. And it'll make it so YouTube can find me, and that's useful, so I'd appreciate it. I'm going to use here the Rider-Waite deck, which is the a very common traditional tarot deck, and it I referred to it a lot in the first video, and I will in subsequent videos. It's the first deck I ever owned. Back in the day, it was like the deck you could find. You know, pretty much if you looked for a tarot deck, this is what you'd find. So it's useful in that sense. You may have seen it before. You're likely, if you have played with tarot at all, you know, this might be the deck you're familiar with, so I'm going to use it. And this is the original deck. I've had this deck for over 50 years. And so it's got a lot of energy already in it. I think that would be useful today. Yeah, Earth signs, what's coming up for you, say in the next couple of weeks. Here we go. Eight of Wands. Movement, flow, communication. This is fire energy. This is about intuition. This particular Wands card, which is fire card, indicates incoming communication, back and forth communication, a change in circumstances, sometimes an actual literal move. That's definitely a card of movement, of some inspiration or communication that probably advances whatever this situation is. And let's find out what it is, but there we go. It's a fast energy. Fire energy is pretty quick. Next card up. Oops, see, I don't read for reversals. Justice card. This is a major arcana. The minor arcana, like that Eight of Wands, more refers to a dynamic in life, in everyday life. The major arcana, like this guy, he, she, they, or just the energy, it's Libra energy, it's air energy. And it signifies usually a situation that's balanced and fair, or a situation that needs to be adjusted to be balanced and fair. It can actually indicate sometimes a legal situation where we're deferring to the system to let us know what's fair. But it's a card of balance and clarity. Libra energy is a strong air sign, and air signs are about clear thinking, clear speech, clear decision making, and a bunch of other stuff. So here we go. Libra, major arcana. This like, I hate to use the word, but this trumps the Eight of Wands. It's the strongest energy out so far, and it indicates, archetypal energy. That sort of underlying thing that's not maybe demonstrable in real life, in 3D, like tangible life, but it's the energy informing it. So something about this incoming communication, this Eight of Wands, has to do with balance and with perhaps setting the record straight in a certain sense, achieving balance. The balance may depend on this coming in. So we'll see. Air sign energy. And I cut periodically, shuffle periodically, whatever, when I'm called to do it, I do it. I beg. Wow. This came out in the first reading, another major arcana. This is the Death card. It signifies the end of something, wrapping up a cycle, and also implicitly the new beginning, because it's a card of transformation. You know, in tarot, this is not like, you know, somebody's going to croak, but something is going to end. And when it ends, something new will begin. It's the nature of life. You know, you remove one thing and something, it gives room for something else to come in. So it's not a bad card. It's a card of transformation. And whatever this transformative force is, it's quick and it's incoming. You know, maybe as fast as 8 days, 8 weeks. Timing is very fluid in tarot. And that's one thing I'd like to mention too, is that in this narrative that unfolds, you know, we're all at different places in this common journey that we take through life in a 3D way, and that we take through our growth in our psyches. That's really what Major Arcana is. So, big energies at work here. 3 cards out, 2 of which are Major Arcana. We're not talking piddly energy. We're talking major transformation. The Scorpio energy there. Again, a fire sign. Excuse me, a water sign energy. That changes everything. Okay. Sometimes they just pop. This is 6 of Cups. Again, water energy. This is a card of connection, often with a past person, sometimes even a past life person, if you think about things that way. It's a soulmate card. This is an important relationship, but it is a past relationship. You've been around the block with this person before. And I say this person because it's 2 guys. I don't know if you can see it. It's 2 people, 2 children. You know, exchanging cups. And cups are feeling energy. They're fluid. They're about emotion and connection. And so this can be a return, another lap. But whatever it is, this relationship has been, you know, radically changed. Radical change. And it's 2, 6 of Cups is a card of reciprocity. In other words, it's not a situation where you're in it alone. You're linked to somebody. And it's undergoing a major transformation. And if you're not communicating now, you will be. Oh, screw it. I just... and I don't know that I'll even edit it out because, you know, that's going to happen. What I did was shuffle, misshuffle so that some are faced up and some are face down, and that just doesn't cut it. So I'm separating them back out, and that will create an interesting, oops, did it again, interesting shuffle. And the card that ended up, excuse me, face up on the table, so I'm going to take it, is Queen of Wands. She also appeared in the one other reading you might want to look at, and I'll link it below. You know, if you go down to the little icons below and click more, it'll give you more information, and in this case, it'll give you a link to reading number 1, because she appeared, and you know, Queen of Wands is no. It indicate the court cards, King, Queen, Page, Knight, not necessarily in that order, indicate usually people, aspects of ourself or in our environment. And again, that's going to change for everybody out there. Wherever you are, it's going to inflect a little differently. But there's something about the story itself that really might resonate. Queen of Wands is a feminine energy. It doesn't mean a woman. It means a sort of the yin energy, the receptive energy. And yin yang, you know, obviously you need both for balance for this. But it is this element, fire, which means intuition, purpose, forward movement, knowing what you want, knowing, you know, what direction to go. It's purposeful. And it's, you know, it's about sort of personal power, you know, solar plexus energy, solar plexus chakra, if you care to look at it that way. And she knows her worth. She knows herself. She's highly intuitive, so she reads the energies around her. And, you know, speaking of energies around her, here they are. You know, here they are in the minor arcana. This return, this past person who you're linked to somehow in an important way, and in a dynamic way that may involve a conversation that could set things right, that could balance the scales. It's also, this justice card can be viewed as like a karmic justice, and not in the sense of you'll be punished if you do it wrong, but just that every action has a consequence. It's a fluid thing. I mean, tarot does not tell you in stone what's happening, obviously. It's the flux of energies, and we're just tapping in right now to a certain place in the narrative. So, Queen of Wands, powerful but receptive energy. She, you know, she reads the energy. She's intuitive. She doesn't run around in the 3D world saying, you know, do it this way. She's attracting rather than out there, you know, pounding it out. That would be King of Wands. And I'm sorry to fill this in, but, you know, just in case you're trying to kind of get a grip on what this means. Wowie, Hierophant. Another major arcana. You know, really strong read. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the preponderance, you know, there are more major arcana than minor. So this situation may entail a lot of deep psychic energy. You know, stuff that informs us and the people around us and the situation that is part of the kind of the fool's journey, from, you know, start to finish, how we get there, how we become whole. And this particular card, which is Taurus energy, that earth energy finally appearing in the spread, can indicate, well, a whole bunch of stuff, because that's how tarot works. But, you know, I'd say, I mean, this kind of straddles, oh, shooty, I have to take that bottom card, but we won't look at it yet. This card kind of straddles intuitive energy, being able to tap into intuitively to everything that's going on around you, to be able to read the energies. And so there's that sort of personal aspect of this. And then there's sort of the system aspect of it. You know, what might be judged to be fair from a more objective point of view, from a Libra point of view, from a thinky point of view, in a system. Because this card, it's the Hierophant, and it can represent a system of thought, a system of beliefs, you know, with sort of possibly rules, but also with, I mean, here are the guys, here's Big Mama with the big hat, you know, the Pope, the authority figure. And then there are these two little monks, I don't know if you can see, but those are the back of their bald heads. They're tensors, I think it's called. And they're in a devotee position. They're in a learning position. And this Hierophant has has a one hand up, and then the sort of, I don't even know the word for it, but this kind of scepter thingy in the left hand. The sort of markings of authority. I wear the hat, I can tell you what to do. But it's also, on a more positive note, or just a different strata, it's your higher self, listening to intuitively, not through the system, intuitively, you're both the devotee and the teacher. If you hearken to it, if you take in what's coming in terms of communication. Again, Taurus energy, and in some ways all the earth signs. So I think this particular Hierophant energy, Hierophant, however you say it, hierarchy, probably Hierophant, leans toward that higher self, listening to it, paying it to reading the energies, and sometimes reading the energies as they actually come in a conversation or communication or the vibe that somebody's sending you. The vibe. Okay, so that's Hierophant, and this is the one that flipped over. And its strength. Leo energy. To me this is a card, obviously, of strength, of courage. I mean, look at her. She's, there's the beast. And there's that infinity symbol over her head. He, she, they. I mean, it's a tarot gives a shit about gender, really. And that's a hard one to sort of understand sometimes. But this is a card of, to me, of compassion, of calming the beast, of befriending the beast, of understanding of whatever the beast, is that sort of raw energy. And red, kind of root chakra energy. In strength, there's a symbiosis between these two. They're in a dynamic relationship. And this would speak to the psyche, not the everyday stuff, but the internal energies that inform this situation. And I'd just like to point out, this is the fourth major arcana. I mean, the minor arcana vastly outnumber the major arcana. These are rare cards. So for four of them to come out in a spread that is 7 cards out on the table is kind of amazing. And it indicates big forces at work here. Big ones, biggie big. It's the Leo card of Leo. Again, a fire energy, a lot of fire in this reading so far. A little bit of air, a little bit of earth, although major arcana, fairly hard-hitting earth, but a lot of fire energy. Which just means inspiration, creativity, courage, forward movement, knowing your own heart, knowing what direction to go in. And in this case, to me, it's the card of ultimate compassion. It's a little bit like, Daniel who went into the lion's den. That's a biblical narrative, story like this. Daniel went into the lion's den. There was a wounded lion who had a thorn in his paw. And a wounded lion is can be a dangerous force. Gobble you up. But Daniel went in and pulled the thorn out of the lion's paw. And this is sort of that same degree of compassion. And it can be for yourself. I mean, if we don't do this for ourselves, if we don't show up for ourselves in a compassionate way, not in a once set it and forget it kind of way, but in this infinite loop, because the lion gives to the one who heals it, and with the opportunity to heal yourself on a psychic, on a non 3D level. Let's just put it that way. On a deeply energetic level, there's a healing, and it takes courage. Fire energy, intuitive, forward-moving, creative life force, more than anything else, I think. Okay, and the last one in the spread is water energy. And it's 7 of Cups. You see this guy here kind of going, it depends how you look at it. It can be, wow, look at all these options. Each cup holds a different thing. Some of them look intriguing. Some of them look a little creepy. The severed head has always sort of bothered me a bit. And this dragon coming out. There's the laurel wreath for victory. There's the snake, which can indicate change, among a lot of other things. There's this sort of spooky critter with the veil over its face, which to me is the most telling card, because this is also a card of what's out there. A lot of options, a lot of places to put my water energy, my feelings, my heart. And so in that sense, it's good. It can also be, though, confusion, with all these options, because this guy, to me, looks a little bit gobsmacked. Like, so many ways, so many places to invest one's feelings. And which is the which? And that just, it's sort of a pain in my ass that you can't see, because I'll work on that. But this card, 7 of Cups, came right below the 6 of Cups. It's always interesting when you get those sequential cards. It usually means in some way you're on the right track. So whatever this past thing is that's revisiting might entail a lot of options. What am I going to do with this return? And confusion. I don't know what to do with this. All these options showing up. How do I discern? How do I pick? With regard to this past energy. So it's not like this, whatever this is that shows up, you say, oh, it's a soulmate, I know just what to do. No, sometimes when soulmates show up, after an ending and a new beginning, they represent the possibility of a new beginning. And where could it lead? At this point, we don't know. We don't know. That's something that might be worked out through this conversation, through this back and forth, what's going on, energy. This is pretty purposeful, though. And it's a volley of stuff. And it is a volley in the sense that it does go back. There's an implication of back and forth. So yeah, and if there's confusion, if there's confusion, some communication may make it more apparent, and particularly through the lens of the higher self. Because while in everyday life we're like, what the fuck? What am I to do? Sometimes when you tune into this part, the part of you that already knows, you can tap into this kind of strength, this kind of courage, to sort of synthesize aspects of yourself and of your circumstance, to get clear, to understand balance, to understand the karmic energies at work. And we'll take this one because, how do you not take Tower? Tower also appeared in reading 1. And I gave the rap in that one, but I'll probably give some version of it every time I see this card, which I like. It is a card of upheaval. It is a card of sort of sudden change of circumstance. On the, I wish I had a word for that, on the archetypal level, on the non-everyday level, on the level of what are the deep energies at work here, well, they're this. And you notice, these two people are getting blasted out of this tower. A lightning bolt is coming in from elsewhere, and this represents sort of the universe blasting the situation. And it can be sudden, and it can be, it can bring everything that you've thought of as the place, the circumstance, the whatever it is that made you feel safe. This tower implicates, a safe place to go and pull up the drawbridge. And if you note, there's no entry point. These people have to be blown out to get out. And they should be. This is the universe, however you want to look at the powers that be that are bigger than us, that say, enough already. You might not think you're ready, but you are, and willy-nilly, you can't live here anymore. There's an old movie called Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and that's what's in my head. But, you can't go back in. Because there was something faulty in the foundation, and it took this blow and it exploded. It can also mean epiphany and being released from a place that was confining, because really, do we want to live in the tower? Do we want to just stay safe? With our bridges pulled up and nobody can get in and nobody can get out? That's pretty stuck. And the universe is saying, you're not stuck anymore. It's also a card of like now. I mean, and there's no going back to this place. You're going to have to start fresh with a new foundation. You're going to have to rebuild something that fits you now, because this doesn't fit anymore. You can't live here anymore. And not only you know it, perhaps, as an epiphany, because that's another meaning of this card, like a sudden lightning bolt from the universe that blows you out of your comfort zone. It's a good card. It's not an easy card, but it gives you the opportunity to rebuild on a more stable foundation, something that's real for you now. Because this place is no longer, can contain you. And there are two people flying out of here. I just note that. May have some significance because we see a lot of coupling here, in the sense of the Six of Cups, and in the two devotees before the higher self, and in the reciprocity of the conversation. So it may be a situation that's entailed two people that's like neither one of you can live here anymore. So that's sort of the overview. And again, another major arcana. I mean, the odds of these guys coming up in such overpowering way, because they overpower and inform the everyday situation. And by tapping into, whatever you conceive of as the source teacher, because that's the other thing about Hierophant. It's the teacher. And either your higher self or some external thing that tells you what to do. I'm more in favor of the internal thing that you already know. because it's your higher self. Okay, and now we're going to clarify, again with the Rider-Waite deck. I mean, you can't see it, but this is the same deck, which is sometimes useful because it shows right away the kind of, sometimes the affirmation, I mean, sometimes the card that clear. This just allows a deeper peek into what we've seen so far, which has been a very powerful reading about transformation, about clarity and balance, about higher power, about compassion, and about this kind of like, is it Shiva? I'm not sure who in the pantheon of Hindu gods like says, kaboom. Kaboom. Epiphany that, So I'm going to take this mini deck, because it's very hard to shuffle in the usual way. I'm going to use this kind of shuffle, which is interesting because sometimes multiple cards pop out, sometimes just one. And we're going to start last card back to first card. So we'll start with Tower. And I probably would anyway if I were just looking at the spread and thinking, what needs clarifying? I mean, you never can leave it there. It just doesn't happen. And I have to speed this up because I've already gone, I think, 36 minutes. That's way too long. So here we go. Okay, we got a popper right away. 4 of Cups. Also appeared in the first reading, and I described it as a card of missed opportunities. And that's really only one way to read it. It's also a card, I've got a candle here, so I have to move that so I don't light myself on fire. It's the divine offering this cup. And this person is sitting under the tree with arms crossed. Not even seeing it really, but it's there in this sort of, coming into this person's, or not, into this person's, frame of reference as an opportunity. And it can be like a meditative card in some decks. It is. In the last read, it came across more as that way. And it can be that kind of Buddha under the bow tree, taking a time to sit it out and figure out these cup energy. Again, this 6 of Cups, 7 of Cups, like, here comes this past person. Many opportunities, some of which may have already gone by, or some of which I don't see yet. And that's clarifying Tower. Oh, rats. I'm just going to grab those and stick them right back in, because that was really a splat. If this is a card of epiphany, this is what precedes epiphany. This is like you have to sit it out. This confusing cup energy. Feelings are in flux here, and things are coming in, and things are slipping by, and but somebody's going to knock this character right out of the comfort zone. You can sit and contemplate it, and you can stay in this 7 of Cups energy. What do I do? What do I do? Where do I go? What are my options? This is sort of a state in which you figure out what matters most out of all these options. And what do I need to do to see it? And the universe says, you can't not see it at this point, because you've had an epiphany that, like, kind of blows your complacence, because that's a meaning of the 4 of Cups. You're just sitting here, arms crossed, legs crossed, there's a little bit of this sort of harumph. You know, good luck with that, because we're not getting that. Yeah, I gotta speed it up. Rats. It is a deep dive. I can't help it. There are a lot of major arcana. So we're going to this time just cut the deck. And draw, going backwards again, right from the Queen of Wands. Oh, I love the King of Swords. Air energy. You know, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. Clarity. Analysis. Kind of, in some ways, complementary to and kind of opposite of this intuitive energy. You know, I read things other people can't see. I can see. You know, it may take some time and some contemplation, but I can see. And this is air energy. It's intellectual, it's analytical, it can be cold, it can be crystal clear, but it's clarity. And it's somebody deciding something, you know, somebody deciding something. It's a decision. And it's taken a while to get clear. And it can show two people who operate very differently. Some with the feminine principle of, it will come to me, I can read the energies. And somebody else with the masculine principle of, I will stand apart and analyze this. King of Swords can be a bit cold. Not necessarily in a bad way, but somebody who steps back and looks at it with not intuition, or with both intuition and intellect, analysis. So it's a really interesting partnership here, whether it's inside you or outside you. This would imply that it's outside you. And perhaps a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius that you're dealing with. You know, and this is fire sign. This is that fire energy of Sagittarius. Of course, I'm blanking. Oh dear, I'm going to have to edit that out. Give me a second. Leo. Aries, Leo, Sag. There we go. Took a while. You know, you could be dealing with one of those fire signs. You could be dealing with an air sign. You could have these elements in your chart, you know, probably somewhere, yes. But it's a nice blending, because it approaches things from the two ways you can get clarity. You know, from inside and from this pulling back perspective. It's Aquarius energy. This is the overview, the bigger picture. And sometimes you need to kind of extricate yourself from these intuitive kind of vibe energies to get the clarity. Both are helpful. Hierophant. Right away. Which is right next to it. You know, we're getting those repeats. That's why I like to use the same deck sometime. Because there she is again. There they are again. There's this principle of compassion and strength and overcoming something. Fire energy. That intuitive, purposeful, I know which way to go, I know what to do. And it's right on top of Hierophant. Clarifying Hierophant. So it's a major clarifying a major. I mean, you know, I've said enough about that, the major arcana. So whatever this higher self is teaching, whatever the lesson here, the kind of karmic lesson, because both Justice and Hierophant can speak to the karmic lesson that we get from our higher power if we're willing to hear it. Queen of Wands, very willing to hear it. King of Swords, very willing to hear it and to act on it. Yeah. I'd say it's leaning toward that intuitive fire energy, that compassion for the self and others, based on being able to sort of read a situation. Let's do it. Let's go again. All right, here we go. I mean, good grief. Ace of Wands. Talk about fire energy. Somebody's it's sort of, a cliche, but fired up. And this again is proffered by the hand of, the divine. At work, in your everyday life, you're getting an opportunity to start again in a new direction, with a newfound sense of purpose, with a new inspirational motivation. And both in the same class of energies, in that fire energy. I mean, I love it, really. I'm excited. Okay, the confusing card. And please just give us one, not like 16. Well, 2, 3. But I'll take them because they make sense to me. Okay, first up is a 5 of, oh, I'm sorry. Well, doesn't really matter. I'll show them all. There's the 5 of Wands. 5s indicate change and a need for change. And this isn't easy. This is a struggle. But you notice they're not creaming each other. They're all going in different directions. They're compelled in different directions. And they're kind of struggling it out. This can implicate there's more than one person involved in this, and maybe more than 2. And it's also a card of practice. Like, how do we work this out? It's a struggle to work it out. But if we want to go forward, we need to. It's an obstacle that needs to be worked out. Second card, World card. This is the completion of a cycle. This is stepping through the portal. I mean, look at her. It's just her depicted on the card. But she is literally stepping through into a new, it's not focusing, into a new phase. It's the closing out of a cycle and a wholly different world we're entering into on that deep level, right? We've had the Ace of Wands. This is like, wherever that new direction, new inspiration takes us, it takes us like all the way, baby. It's a very positive card, and again, a card of karma. Another major arcana, the Fool. This is the guy who begins the journey. Fool energy is fresh, is new, is, if you look at tarot as the hero's journey, the individual going through that journey toward wholeness, toward completion, this is the last card of the major arcana. This is the first card of the major arcana. So whatever this journey is takes us, all the way through to a new portal, to a new world. And it involves a leap of faith. Look at him. It's kind of arms wide open on the precipice with his little, sort of hobo knapsack on his back. So in this confusion, what we're sussing out with this struggle here is kind of soup to nuts. Like, what are we willing to change to step through the portal? What are we willing to begin the journey, which will have obstacles? 5 of Wands. And the ultimate, reward of a new life. So that 7 of Cups, those options and everything are looking very good right now. Quickly. Oh my goodness, another repeat. Death card clarifying the 8 of Wands. So this communication coming in really will flip the script in some way. End something, begin something. On a new footing. And that is a repeating theme here. I mean, really? 6 of Cups again. On justice. This relationship is coming back around. Perhaps to be rebalanced. Because something's not over. I mean, something's over. But is there a new beginning? You betcha. Fool card. Oh, sorry. Ace of Wands. The new beginning is here. I put these down backwards. So major, whatever this past energy is coming in, this person or situation from the past that will return and you'll be revisiting, is on Death card. It's not the same situation. It's not. It may be reminiscent, may have echoes of the past, but it's not the same. It's transformed. Chariot, another major arcana. This is a card of balance, of forward movement on that deep level. May also indicate actually a move. There are 2 cards here indicating perhaps a literal move, but certainly a movement forward that's balanced. You can't pull a chariot if one horse is going this way and like yee-haw, one's going one way and one's going, doesn't work. So something needs to be in accord. And the black Sphinx and the white Sphinx, a balance between the light and the dark, between everything that's opposing, needs to be under the control of the person driving the bus. And it's fast. It is a fast card, a deep level transformation on the deepest strata. And man, is there forward movement? You bet. So it's really not, and this is 6-7, just sometimes that matters too. And the 7 here of sort of, which way do I go? What do I do? Well, you move forward. When this thing comes around, it's completely different. Death card. Twice. And I would suggest reconciling of differences. Intuitive and analytical. I mean, this is a very powerful spread, and whatever's coming will advance the cause, like in such a big way. That's brilliant. I want to be you or signs. And in fact, I happen to be a Virgo. But, I know a lot of earth signs, and I agreed to do that earth energy. There's one more because Knight of Swords, message coming in fast. Of a kind of enlightening nature in the element of this King of Swords. So it could be a message from, because it is Aquarius energy. Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. So it's a message coming in. that perhaps gives us courage, its own strength. It accelerates something for sure. And it has to do with this courageous healing energy. Because Strength card is all about healing. It's about pulling the thorn out. It's going into the cave and pulling the thorn out. I mean, you can read the metaphor as well as I can. But in real time, there will be a message. And it will come in fast and decisively. On strength. You know, it will fortify you, and it may in fact remove that thorn. Remove that thorn. Whatever was 5 of Wands contentious, whatever was confusing, you know, what is the thorn? How do I heal it? It's healed through Strength cards, through compassion, which appears twice, one right next to the other. I love tarot. This was a good read, almost an hour. I apologize, I'll get faster. I'll compress the beginning spiel and all of that. But thank you for joining me here. We're going to build this channel, and it takes some folks to get on board. So I invite you to do that. Like, share, subscribe. Love you guys.